Phase 4, Advanced Efficiency and Expansion. Today we're going to talk about automation and ticket routing and ways we can reduce manual triage. In SolarWinds Service Desk, it's important to understand the hierarchy of ticket routing. So we'll run through that very quickly. As we jump into setup, there's multiple ways tickets can be routed and assigned to different individuals or groups. The first way, and as every ticket comes in, the system is going to look, does it meet the criteria or the conditions for an automation rule? If it matches the conditions for an automation rule, it will run that automation and assign to that group or individual that the rule is action to do so. We'll talk through that here in a minute. If a ticket comes in and it does not meet the criteria for an automation rule, the next thing the system will look at is, does the category or subcategory have a default assignee? If it does, it will route there. So you can see in my example here, if someone puts in a ticket under the applications category, Google Suite subcategory, that ticket will automatically route to David Russell. If someone puts in a ticket for the applications category for something like Concur or Coupa, where we don't have a default assignee, the system looks at the high-level category, and in this case, we'll route it to the application support team. The next way, if a ticket does not meet the conditions for an automation rule, nor does it meet the conditions for a category or a subcategory, the system will look at site and department. If the user who created the ticket belongs to a department that has a default assignee, the ticket will route to that individual or that group. Next, it will look at site. If the user who submitted the ticket belongs to a site that has a default assignee, the ticket will route there. So in a nutshell, kind of going back through that, tickets are going to look at automation rules first and follow those actions. If no automation rule, then it looks at the subcategory. If no subcategory default assignee, it will look at the category. If no category default assignee, it will look at the site and the department. And if none of those criteria are met, the last option would be to set an overall system default assignee. Outside of just the default assignees, what we're really going to get into today is the automations. Automation rules are probably one of the more powerful pieces of the application, especially when it comes to ticket routing. There's many ways you can route tickets using automation rules, whether it be keyword, site, department, custom fields in the system. So a lot of different data points that you can build from. We'll look at a few examples here. The first, as we go through an automation rule, is our trigger. So again, automation rules being very powerful in the system can be used for just about anything. Technically shouldn't say everything. I'm sure you could find something you can't build an automation rule, but you'd be hard pressed to do so. Let's start with ticket created, because this is what we're going to focus on for routing. So the trigger for this automation will be an object created. The scope is going to be what type of object. In our case, we're going to look at incidents and service requests. You can also build automation rules around changes and assets, but we'll focus on the tickets. Conditions are what conditions have to be met, what criteria have to be met for this ticket to follow this rule and take whatever action we define. Again, here you'll see, as I pull up this drop down, many options. Everything from created date to category to department to keyword to all the different custom fields that I have in the system, or even just base it off who the actual requester is. Let's talk about some common examples. Keyword is probably the most common. So you can build rules off of any common keyword for tickets that come in. And this will work whether it comes through email, through the portal, through Teams or chat or the mobile app. But we can build this to say, if I get a ticket with the keyword of Zoom, then I automatically want to route that ticket, or in this case, update that record to assign it to an individual or a group. So very simple there. Object created, any ticket that has the keyword of Zoom in the subject or the description of that ticket will assign to David. Let's look at another quick example. If I get a keyword of Outlook, I want to assign that ticket to my application support team. If there are other variables or fields or any data that you want to update in addition to the assignee, you can do so here in that update record. I may know Outlook as our email system is a high priority, so I might want to set the priority for all these tickets to high automatically. One big thing to note with these keyword automations is you do have the ability to use regex or regular expression. So if I wanted to capture something simple like capital or lowercase Outlook, and we can talk through regular expression at a later date, or I recommend using an internet resource like regex 101. But just a couple of brackets around a capital and a lowercase o will then pick up any variation of Outlook capitalized or undercased, lowercase. Update record, take whatever actions you want to take. If you need to assign custom fields or set priority, or again, assign it to the appropriate team or individual. Let's look at another common use case here. Our VIP automation. So most organizations have a group of VIPs, be it senior executives or C-level suite, but we want to make sure that these users get the white glove treatment. So something simple there, a quick automation rule to route these tickets appropriately, maybe assign them a critical priority, would be to use the field of requester. So I could simply create an automation rule that says if a VIP, so if a ticket gets created from a certain requester, whether that be a specific user, like Bill CEO, or a group that I've set up, in my example, for my VIPs, which includes everyone that I would consider a VIP in the system. So again, anything created from a requester in this group, I will automatically assign that ticket to my level 3 support and make sure it has a critical priority. Again, another simple automation rule that can be highly effective, but any VIP who creates a ticket automatically gets routed to my tier 3 support team and gets a critical priority. Next, let's look at how we can leverage SLAs not only for reporting around our standard metrics that we need to meet in service level agreements, but also how we can leverage SLA warnings to remind us of what's upcoming and what we should take priority on, or what tickets should take precedence over another. If we look here at my active incidents queue, I can see all the tickets that I have open. You can see a few of them have already breached some SLAs, but the big thing we're going to focus on here is this next breach warning. So as these tickets come in, and we'll talk about the SLA setup here in a second, but what we can leverage is what we call our SLA warning tool, or next breach column in the view here. But what that's going to do is give us an idea of how much time we have on this ticket before we breach the next SLA. And I've got mine sorted here to show me I've got 3 days left for this laptop request. I've got 2 days left for some of these basic tickets where users need help. And if I scroll down a little, some of these Zoom issues and broken laptops, I'm approaching 4 hours before I breach my low priority resolution SLA. A great tool that you can leverage to see which tickets you should start working on prior to others, or anything you need to jump into quickly. And let's talk about how we got this. In setup, under Service Desk, Service Level Management, here I can build my SLAs. So you can see I've got a few examples already built in the system, but we'll talk about here how you can build and create your own SLAs for any service levels that you all may need to meet within your organization. The first thing to define is the target. What is the service level that we need to meet? Do we need to assign a ticket within a certain amount of time? Do we need to comment or respond to a user within a certain amount of time? Do we need to resolve this ticket in a certain amount of time? Or do we want to set an SLA just to take an action on the ticket? Meaning if a ticket was sitting stale for X amount of time, we will breach the SLA. And the last one, no state change, can be used in situations where a ticket may be sitting on hold for too long, or waiting on a vendor for longer than we thought, or in any custom status or system status that we want to define, a ticket should only sit in this state for X amount of time without breaching an SLA. But let's talk about some basic ones. Not assigned. So here we'd be building an SLA to say we agree to assign a ticket to a group or an individual within a certain amount of time. Let's say that target we set is 2 hours. So we're telling the system in this case, we plan or agree to assign tickets within 2 hours. We can use business hours for these SLA rules. So if we don't want this to apply to tickets that come in after hours or outside of our business rules, uncheck that box. Check that box if we do want to use business hours. So if we don't want this rule to apply to any ticket outside of business hours, we want to make sure we check this box so that it's only running during our set business hours. Unchecking that box would have this SLA run 24/7. So for example, if a ticket came in at 9 p.m., we still have to assign it within 2 hours because this SLA is not looking at those business hours. The next checkbox, suspend timer for all states which SLAs do not apply, would mean if we want to be able to pause this SLA timer for tickets that we may move on hold, or something that may be waiting on an end user, or waiting on a vendor to ship a part or equipment that we have no control over. Unchecking that box would tell the SLA to run 24/7. Does not matter if you put the ticket on hold or if you move it into a status that does not apply to SLAs. With that box unchecked, this timer will be running around the clock. With that box checked, when we move a ticket to on hold, that timer will pause until the status is changed. So let's keep going. That next breach, or in this case, what we call indication threshold. This is what you saw in that ticket queue that told me how much time I have before I breach the SLA. So for something like this, if I have a target to assign tickets within 2 hours, I may want a warning 1 hour before. So in that view that we saw, I'll see an orange indicator telling me that I have 1 hour before I breach our 2 hour not assigned SLA. And I may want that warning to turn red when I have 30 minutes left to start counting down so I can get those visual indicators about which tickets I should jump into quickly. Next, we need to define the scope. Do we want this SLA to apply to any and all tickets? Or do we only want it to apply to incidents? Do we only want it to apply to service requests? And beyond that, what other conditions need to be met? So this is where you can get really granular with your SLA rules. But most common SLAs are based on priority. If I have a low priority ticket that I need to assign within 2 hours, I may have a different SLA for a high priority ticket. So maybe my high or critical priority tickets, I want to build an SLA that says I need to resolve or assign this within 1 hour. So defining your scope, again, you can get really granular here, whether it's based on priority, category, different sites, different departments may have different SLAs, different subcategories, or even any custom fields that you want to use in the system. You'll see as I pull this condition list down, my list goes forever because I have a ton of custom fields that may be specific or unique to this SLA. Once we've defined the scope or the criteria that this SLA is going to apply to, we've defined our target. Next, we can set the actions we want to take when this SLA breaches. So in this example, if I fail to assign a ticket manually or through an automation rule or a routing rule to an individual or assignee, I can tell the system that when this SLA breaches, I want to automatically assign that user or assign that ticket to a specific individual or a group. I might want to reassign it to a group here where I can specify the group assignment. I may want to send a notification to that assignee's manager, whoever the ticket has been assigned to, notify them. Or I might want to notify my tier 2 or my tier 3 team, or maybe my IT managers. Tags really just used for reporting in here. If I want to be able to, tag this low priority assignment or SLA breach. Tags can be used in reporting throughout the system so we can identify which tickets fall under those tags. I know that was a lot, so let's go through one more example really quick. Another common SLA is going to be resolution. Probably the most common is how long or what is the time frame that we have an agreement for with our users to resolve their tickets within. For example, again, a low priority ticket, we may commit or agree to resolving those tickets within 2 days. So very simple, I would set my target. My target for this SLA is I want to resolve tickets within 2 days. I'm going to apply this to all tickets, but only those with a low priority. So again, any incident or service request with a low priority, I agree to resolve that ticket within 2 days. In my example here, I'm going to use business hours. So we're going to pause this SLA timer overnight or over the weekend. I'm going to keep that box checked to suspend the timer for any states to which the SLA does not apply. So if I move a ticket on hold or I'm waiting on an end user to get back to me with some further information, that SLA timer will pause. And I can set my indication thresholds here to maybe be 12 hours before or give me a warning 1 day in advance. And let's turn that indicator red within 12 hours here. Oh, and you'll see here, it needs to be less than the initial time. Using business rules, I only have 8-hour days. So again, it's going to apply to those business rules there. So here, I promise or agree to resolve tickets within 2 days if they have a low priority. If a ticket has a high priority, I can build a separate SLA to say I promise or agree to resolve these tickets within 1 day. I can check that box again if I want to pause things when I move them on hold or waiting on end user. And then again, I may have a different SLA for my critical priority tickets. So those mission critical issues that come in, I may need to solve those within a matter of hours. Here I'll have to set my indication threshold to meet. I want that timer to start right away and then turn red when I have 2 hours left. Actions, if I breach this SLA, what do I want to do? Do I want to bump up the priority? Do I need to reassign these tickets to another user or bump them up and escalate them to tier 2 or tier 3? Who do I need to notify that this SLA was breached? And do I want to tag it for any reporting purposes?